Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets. Yeah.
You gotta believe and invest with your heart. Orange and blue till Mets do us part. Spring training, oh yes, it's the start. City Field gritty till Mets do us part. Hit home runs and knock it out the park. Big Apple till Mets do us part. You gotta believe and invest with your heart. Listen to the show till Mets do us part. John from Brooklyn, Ibby reps NJ. With the other team, I don't care what your friends say. Mets fans, we focus like a sensei. Listen to the podcast Monday, Wednesday. Made a couple bad plays, but we still won. Character, yup, we're gonna build some. Are you gonna check the pod? Is real fun. Just like Mookie, I will, son. So invest with your heart. Orange and blue till Mets do us part. Spring training, oh yes, it's the start. City Field gritty till Mets do us part. Hit home runs and knock it out the park. Big Apple till Mets do us part. You gotta believe and invest with your heart. Listen to the show.
Available now on all streaming platforms. If you love the New York Mets, check out Till Mets Do Us Part. Enough rapping. Let's get to gabbing.
What is up, everyone? Good to see you. As you can see, flying solo this week, Matt Ibanez here, a.k.a. Ibby. Till Mets Do Us Part. Checking in with you a little bit later than normal. It's 6:40 Eastern Standard. Usually at 5:30. We're an hour late, but we were waiting for that Met game to finish. And as it was just said in the chat before, we are flying home with the W after a 3-3 West Coast swing. Look, things were looking sharp for this team as we kicked things off against the Dodgers, winning the first two, and then things got a little bit iffy. That last game, losing by 10, losing 10-0, and losing the first two to the Giants. We thought things were going to get a little bit hairy there, but they come in, they take the final game of the series to salvage it. They come home with the split. I said last week, I don't know if I said it on the show last week, but I was hoping for that split. And we're feeling good right now, so we're having a feel-good show as the room starts to fill up. So I appreciate everyone here. And like I said, you can see I'm flying solo this week. My partner is not here, John Saponaro. Had some things he had to tend to. Couldn't make it this week. All good. I said, I'm going to have some fun with this show like I always do when I'm going solo. I got plenty of graphics this week. I got some jokes that I'm ready to throw out there as well. Hopefully another video that might catch that I thought was pretty funny. I put it together yesterday, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. That'll come up eventually at some point during my my ranting and raving and having a good time with you guys, as I always do. But I have to shout out to Brella Sports Media, Brella Sports Network, whatever it is that you want to call it. It all applies. They're the ones supporting us and giving us this platform, so I appreciate them for all that they do for us. And as always, you can catch us on, as you can see here, on YouTube. We're streaming live on X, not only my channel, but the show channel, the show handle, I should say, John's handle. We're everywhere that we can be to get as many eyes as we possibly can. So I'm feeling good. I'm pumped up. So I'm glad that I get to come on here after a W because the last thing we wanted to do was fly back home off of a sweep when we thought things were going to be a little bit better. So coming back home, 3-3 with a lot of good stuff on the horizon is good for our New York Mets. But look, as you can see from my thumbnail this week, it's kind of blended in there, but you can see a little bit of a roller coaster. As I've said multiple times before, this team is a roller coaster, and it's going to be. They win 6 in a row. They were on the verge of losing 4. They salvaged it, but, they win 6, lose 3. Win 2, lose 4. Win 7, lose 5. Like, that's how this is kind of going to go. So it's all about the ebbs and flows and staying in control. But we're going to cover all of it today, okay? I did my best on my sheet. I pulled a John. I wrote everything down this week to break things up. I got a lot of stuff that I want to cover. And as always, I'm going to do my best to follow along with everyone in the chat. But as I always say when I do the solo shows, it gets a little bit tough to navigate the chat because a lot's going on. You guys are having your conversations, and I want you to, but I'm going to get to anything I possibly can as I scroll over and look throughout the show to try and stay up with everyone that's in there. But we start off with our hellos, as we always do. Armand's here. Hey, now, LFGM, pumped up after a win. Rael coming in saying, nice to fly home with the momentum. I agree. We got JD Martinez. If all things go well today, should be, with the team starting at DH, probably batting 5th on Friday. So that'll be good for the team moving forward, for the offense in general. Okay. Junior Swingman in the building. Let's go Mets. So, we're feeling good. Mr. Nobody with a nice big woo there. Okay. Robert's here, LFGM. Great to see everyone here as always. I appreciate all of you. And oh my God. Mets Trucker Pod, my man Tone. I missed you, Tone. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you're doing well, brother. Feel good show for the vibes. Good to see the Mets rocking and rolling after that 0-5 start. I told the world we'd be okay. Look, Tone said it. Tone was with this team. He said everyone was going too crazy. You got to calm down. And he was right. He was right. Tone, I do want to have a conversation with you on the side when it comes to Brett Beatty. I know his offense has been off lately, but Brett Beatty's playing a little bit better than what you thought he would be doing. But we'll save that conversation for later on in the show. If this is your first time here and we're starting to fill up with the chat, I know a lot of people are probably doing shows right now with the post game, but 42 of you are here right now. I'm sure it'll continue to fill up. If this is your first time here, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Make sure you're hitting that sub if you're over here on YouTube. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, all those good things. It goes a long way in helping this channel grow. If you're watching us over on Twitter, I appreciate you as well. Follow me, follow John, follow the show account. Do anything that you can to keep up with everything that we do here. We stream every single Wednesday, sometimes multiple times during the week, covering our New York Mets, the team that we love the most, all season long, all off season. We're here all year. So if this is your first time rocking with me, rocking with us, I appreciate you. Just make sure you hit that sub so you can stay up on everything that we're doing throughout the season. But if we're going to start anywhere, I think the proper place to start would be on this West Coast trip. Okay. So obviously we started off hot, taking 2 from the Dodgers. That Saturday game was thrilling. It was up and down. There was a lot going on in that game. But they came out with the win. It was a huge win. I felt great afterwards. And obviously, the stuff that came out right afterwards with Francisco Alvarez, we'll talk about that in the second half of the show. I refused to let that bring me down. It was a huge win. I was pumped up. And I wasn't going to allow the injury to pull down my mood after that Dodger win. But the West Coast trip in general, you saw some good, you saw some bad. I'm going to cover the bad, specifically from the offensive side, but really the pitching side as well, especially from the starters. We'll get into all of that. But in general, I thought, coming back 3-3, I think a lot of us probably thought it was going to be reversed. You probably thought that this team would take 2 out of 3 from the Giants and take 1 from the Dodgers. But we end up either way, you get there how you get there. This team goes 3-3. They come back home. And like I said, JD Martinez is on his way on Friday to help this offense and hopefully add some more, consistency within this offense in terms of scoring runs. Because let's be honest, if you stayed up like I did, sacrificed my sleep, on Monday and Tuesday to watch those 2 games, they were, let's be honest, it was boring baseball. It wasn't that good. But I'm not going to bring it down too much because the offense was very shoddy. They tried to come back late, wasn't there, but they woke up on a Wednesday afternoon to salvage the series and get the win. So I'm very pumped up about that. And I'm happy that this team's coming back home with a little bit more sizzle to them as opposed to, coming in off of a sweep. The offense, though, it has to be more consistent. It has to be. And I hope JD coming in can provide that depth. It's going to be interesting to see what move the team ends up making. I would say, I can see some guys in the chat. I'm going to get to those comments in a minute. I see you in there, Keith. Don't you worry. I wanted to see a little bit more consistency from the offense. It was very, rough in spots, didn't do that hot. Those first, 7 or 8 innings of both of those games, they tried to, tease you a little bit late, but it came to no avail. But I really hope that JD coming in can establish some more consistency with this team, and it can provide some offense that it can then allow the pitching, which has been a huge problem, which then can allow the pitching to, really settle in and attack the zone more, not be as picky, go after hitters and not nitpick and then miss spots and then, walking guys. And I got a graphic for that I'll bring up. That's a little bit alarming in general. But, overall, I felt good after the trip. Take the Sunday game with the Dodgers is what it was. You get out of there. You took 2 out of 3 from LA. You consider that a win. But yeah, it was bad baseball. bad baseball the first 2 games against San Fran, but finish strong and we move forward. When it comes to the offense, though, if there's someone I have to give respect to, it's Starling Marte. I came into this offseason really, I'll be honest, and me and John are always honest on the show. I wrote off Starling Marte. 1,000% I wrote him off. I was done with him. I thought this guy's finished. I didn't think he had much to offer. I was ready for Drew Gilbert, all these different things. And Starling Marte has been one of the constants when it comes to this offense. He's back in that 2 spot, and he was, providing the things that we saw from him in 2022. And that's what we said. And I said back then, and I'll continue to say, like, he was the engine for that team in 2022 from the offensive perspective. When he went, the offense went. So having that type of player back, and he's hitting the ball well, he's hitting the ball hard, he's getting on base, he's stealing bases. I see Carson in the chat. When we have our chat on the side during the games, he's always asking for Marte to steal, and we've been seeing him run more times than not. So it shows that the health is there. Having a healthy Starling Marte firing on all cylinders goes a long way in lengthening this offense and adding more base runners, which creates more traffic, which gives more opportunities for our other hitters, the Lindors of the world, the Petes of the world, and hopefully, the JD Martinez's of the world, to drive them in so we can create more offense, score more runs, and protect the staff that we have. Okay. Also, shout out to Francisco Lindor. Okay. I know Keith's in here. He was going crazy before. And yes, Keith, I got the road gray rocking here. I can't really show it right now, but I can post a picture later. It's a number 0, my customed Ray Ordonez jersey. Very pumped up about it. Looks sharp though. Francisco Lindor, 4 hits, 2 homers, 4 RBIs. Tyrone Taylor today providing the offense as well. A home run, a double, 3 RBIs. They were the ones that carried this team today, but it was great to see. We got to get Tyrone Taylor some more at-bats. I'm sure he'll mix in here and there, but he's been doing a great job. I do want to, before I keep moving along, I do want to hop into the chat and see, I want to bring up Keith's, some of Keith's comments. Who's going to talk shit now? Okay. He's coming for people's necks. Look, there's a lot that can go on when it comes to the people that talk about this team. When people want to talk about Francisco Lindor, look, I see the stupid stuff that was said. And the one tweet that got a lot of run today, we have to stop. We have to stop giving them what they want. They want the engagement. They want the quote tweets. They want the traffic. They want the views. We just got to stop. I know people in here, not everybody, but people in here know that I like wrestling. And I know people in this chat like wrestling as well. And if there's one thing that I can compare Mets Twitter with when it comes to wrestling, it's the IWC. The internet wrestling community is a toxic shit show. It really is. And guess what? You can enjoy wrestling when you don't partake in that. And you can enjoy what you're watching, and you don't have to listen to other people because, I know everyone's entitled to their opinions, but you don't have to listen. Okay. Same thing happens here when it comes to our Mets. You can enjoy your team. You can watch your team. You can critique your team as well, but you don't have to partake in the nonsense that gets put out there. Mute has gone so far for me. Blocking as well. I just don't want to see certain things. I block certain words. I don't want to see it. I don't need it anymore. You don't need that energy. You really don't. Like, you can calm down. You can eliminate that nonsense by just ignoring it. But I know Keith. Keith wants to go after people, and that's fine. He wants to call them out. He wants to keep those receipts. And look, I'd be lying if I said I don't do that sometimes as well. I do. But I try to limit it now because, the amount of it that goes on is just, it's too much and it's annoying. And there's no reason to give those people really the light of day. But let's keep on going through these comments. Take a look. Thank you, Corey, because I was a trooper for staying up for those games. It was brutal. Not the easiest of mornings, but thankfully coffee got me through it. CP in the building. Salute, my friend. Good to see you. LGM. I was watching along with CP and Rob, during the game. They were doing a great job with, a watch along. I had a lot of fun in the chat with Carson as well. JDM, save me from this group of noodles. Carson loves Carson hates noodle bats. But, hopefully JD, who, correct me if I'm wrong, Carson, I think you had said yesterday that he had 3 batted balls over 100 miles an hour at AAA. So hopefully you can bring that bat speed, bring that power up here and provide something for this team that's been lacking in certain areas, and it can bump people down into spots where they belong. and hopefully, add a little bit less pressure on people's shoulders so they can perform to a better capability than where they are right now. We got Rosie in here. Always appreciate you, Rosie. Hauser can't remain in the rotation. People are going to make Mets are going to have to make a decision there. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Thank you for bringing that up. So I'm going to bring that up, like I said, in a couple of minutes. Let's take a look. Corey here coming in. I said it before. People can stop worrying about Lindor from the left side of the plate. Look, it was always going to self-correct. I know a lot of people had conversations on here and on Twitter. It's like, oh, why doesn't he just bat righty? Stop focusing on being a switch. Look, when you establish something in your game for the longest of times, you don't just stop it. Like, it's going to, you press. We've talked about the human element 1,000 times on here. You're going to press at times. You're just going to have to get better. And with time, things can come. And I know I've said before that, when it comes to New York, people don't have that patience. But when you allow things to play out, guys eventually get back to what they were when it comes to the back of their baseball card. And that's Francisco Lindor. I think he rose his OPS by 100 points today so again, we're going to get there. Okay. He's doing, this was a huge game for him, especially from the left side. I think the confidence is going to play big here moving forward. And hopefully we have the Francisco Lindor of old and we're ready to rock and roll moving forward. But overall, I was so happy for him because you could really tell that that weight is really starting to come off of his shoulders. Yes, Keith, the IWC is trash. Thank you for saying that I am spitting. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's just nonsense. Armand, Ibby, you're so right. Like I'm telling you, you don't need it. You can like the WWE. You can like AEW. You're allowed. Okay. I enjoyed WrestleMania. I love wrestling. I enjoy WrestleMania. Guess what? I watched Dynasty on Sunday. I know you were watching too, Keith. I'm sure you were as well, Armand. It was a fantastic show. Will Ospreay and Dragon was incredible. I don't need people telling me how I should like that. I'm going to like it because that's what I like to watch. Okay. Same thing that can happen here with our Mets. Enjoy your team. Watch them. Don't partake in the nonsense. Okay. I see some other questions. Yeah, I'll get to them in a moment. But some of the things that I really wanted to get into is the nitty gritty, talking ball here when it comes to the good for our team. I mentioned Starling Marte, which has been a fantastic story to this point when it comes to the offensive side. I want to go to the pitching side, and there's a lot of good. I loved what I saw from Sevy last night. I thought he did a great job. He got shitty hits here and there, little dinky singles that really just had everything unravel on him. He was perfect for the first 4. It was unfortunate. I still like what I'm seeing from Severino, especially over the last 4 or 5 starts. So I'm not worried about him at all. I'm very confident that what he does moving forward is going to help this team. But I have to bring up a guy that pitched today, and some of my stats here are going to be a little bit off in terms of the percentages, mainly because I didn't get to update it because I went live the second the game ended. And I know Reed went 2 innings today, or an inning and 2/3, and he had 3 or 4 strikeouts. So some of this is going to be off, but the story of Reed Garrett has been phenomenal to this point. And some of the stuff that, really goes a long way. And I wrote it down. I want to make sure I get this right. When it comes to pitch usage, it really matters. And this is why when you bring in someone like David Stearns and you develop a better pitching lab and you get smarter people in here to really analyze the data, attack the things, make the changes that need to happen to make you a better overall pitcher. This is a guy who was pitching to, a 7+ ERA in his career. And because he was using his 4-seam fastball a predominant amount of the time. And that was, really an unsuccessful pitch for him, but he wasn't having the information in front of him to show him, look, maybe you shouldn't be throwing this pitch. Maybe you should be focusing on other things. So we got this graphic right here to bring it up, talk about Reed Garrett. He left the 4-seam behind. It's yielded the worst graded results. His splitter versus left-handed hitters is whiffing at a near 77%. His sweeper against righties is getting a whiff rate of 46.7%. His cutter versus lefties or righties is generating a 44% whiff rate. It's like he is a brand new pitcher. And all it took was understanding the proper usage of your pitch selection, knowing, hey, don't throw this pitch. It doesn't work. focus here, throw this pitch. Okay. And you're seeing what can happen. And this is why we always talk about bullpens being fickle. Guys can be up and down. Okay. I just think that, people saw names in this pen. They're like, oh my God, who are these guys? What's this? What's that? This is what you allow David Stearns to do. And I think it was Hector who just brought up, he's like, look, don't give Stearns all the credit because, Garrett was brought in last year by Epler. And it's like, yes, he was brought in last year. This wasn't a guy that was brought in by Stearns, but changes that are made, lab that's established, you get better people in there to get and better understand how to work pitches and what you should be using. It takes a little bit of time, but yes, the fruits of your labor are then shown. The good is then shown. And we're seeing the results. And I think right now, look, I love Edwin Diaz. We all love Edwin Diaz. He's fantastic. He's incredible. But at the same time, I think right now the bullpen ace is Reed Garrett. He's been unhittable. I know he gave up the home run today, but I don't really care about that. Like you're bound to give up a home run here and there. You're not going to be 100% perfect in keeping the balls in the park. But he gave up the one today, but he's been lights out. And you look at those numbers, it's incredible. And then we're gonna bring up Carson, who's always a great person to lean on with this type of stuff. Garrett was a two-pitch reliever, now converted to an explosive strikeout arm with 5+ pitches. Stuff plays. It does. And I look at those numbers, and it's really wild to just see them where his splitter against lefties, 77% whiffs. Like, that's wild. His cutter working against he's striking out people at such a high clip. Stuff does play. And having him in this pen is going to help. But here's the thing. And this is where I get worried. This is where I think a lot of Mets fans should be worried. And I know Carson covered this as well over on Mets Weekly. If you don't subscribe to them, make sure you do. Speaking of subscribing, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. I appreciate every single one of you. We got 141 people in here right now. I love all of you. If this is your first time watching, thank you so much. It's truly appreciated. It really is. I don't forget the times when 5 people were on here. So when I got 140, I got all the love for you. Okay. If you're watching us over on Twitter, do me a favor. Head on over to YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. We've been a little bit stifled there when it comes to subs because I know a lot of people are watching us on Twitter, and I appreciate it. I love the eyes. I love the exposure. But if you head on over to YouTube, like the video, sub the channel, hop into the chat, have some fun with us. It's great. It's good stuff. We always have a good time here every Wednesday. Okay. But I do have to bring this one up as well, because this, in my opinion, was a problem. And I called this one stock down, or I could have went stock down or walk this way, whatever you want to do. The bullpen has been nails to this point, especially Reed Garrett. I think Diaz is going to be fine. Rayleigh's banged up right now, but Rayleigh was doing well. Ottavino has been fine, But when you look at these things, Jose Quintana's got 14 walks in his last 25 innings pitched. I'm sorry, 25 innings pitched. Sean Manaea's got 14 walks in 19 innings pitched. Adrian Hauser's got 14 walks in 19 innings pitched. I'm sorry, actually, no. 14 walks in, I think that's supposed to be 23.2 innings pitched, actually, for 14 walks and 23.2 innings pitched for Manaea as the updated from today. So you can't be walking the yard, because when you're walking the yard, you're not going to get the innings. And when you don't get the innings, you're taxing your bullpen. And we're going down the same road that we went down last year, where these guys were fried by the time, the end of May finished up. May, June, bullpen was fried. And you still got the hot summer months into September to keep playing ball. We need innings. You're not going to get those innings if you keep on walking everybody. And I know Rosie brought up before how, Hauser is really pitching himself out of this rotation. And, I would say that I agree with that, because, you can't have 14 walks in 19 innings. You're not providing anything for this team. You're really not. And, I side with Jerry Blevins on this one. If anyone listens to Shea Station, if you don't, you should. They're fantastic over there. Him and Jolly do a great job. Jolly asked Jerry, who's like, what do you think about Adrian Hauser? Is he working his way out of this rotation? And he said that, his stuff is still there. He has to get the walks under control. But he said, at minimum, if he can't get the walks under control, you could be looking at 2 more starts. But really, it could be 4 to 5 more starts for him. So you could be looking at another month of Adrian Hauser. And look, if you ask me, I think long run for him this year and moving forward, if he is, sticking around, would be him in that Trevor Williams role, where it's like you're a long reliever. You can come in certain spots, mop up, things like that. But you can't be walking everybody. You just that can't be what's going to happen here. And everyone wants to jump automatically to Christian Scott and the guys that are down low. And we'll talk about those guys in a little bit. But I just think that I'm with Jerry in saying that I think Hauser has I would say at least 3 more starts to see if he can correct himself, to get the walks under control. I think that that's what's going to end up happening. And then obviously everyone automatically goes right to Scott, thinking he's going to be the guy. Don't be shocked if you don't see Scott until June. I would say June. It's going to be very interesting to see how they handle the innings for him. And let's be honest, some of the stuff, he's still got to get the home run under control. But he has been phenomenal. I'm going to go over some of his numbers in a little bit when it comes to the On the Farm segment. I'm going to try to start making more regular on the show here, but we'll go over Scott in a moment. And I have to come over to the comments real quick because I knew this was coming. Carson saying, and whose fault is it, Ibby? Just say, he wants me to say that this is all Jeremy Hefner's fault. He's a bum. He needs to get lost. And look, John Manconi has been very busy. We want to get him on the show to have a conversation, talk Brella, talk Mets pitching, talk Jeremy Hefner, because I know Carson has his feelings. I know John has his feelings. And I'm going to bring John on, Manconi that is. I'm going to bring him on. And I'm just going to say, talking point, Jeremy Hefner. And I'm going to sit back with my popcorn and allow the comments to blow up, light up, let John blow up, get tomato face, and watch the sparks fly, because that's going to be some appointment television, if you will. But yeah, look, you want to blame Hefner? I can't blame you for that, because something that Carson did bring up to me on the side, when it comes to a lot of these pitchers, when they come over here, their walk rate does seem to skyrocket, and that's something that you obviously want to not be the case. And then you could say, well, what's been the constant? And you could say, well, Jeremy Hefner has been the constant through it all, as he survived so far 3 regimes, 3 different changes. So, yeah, I think that's going to be an interesting conversation when I do get Manconi on here. But if you want to blame Jeremy Hefner, Carson, I can't stop you. I really can't. Checking it out in the comments as well. Corey coming in. Rael, he succeeded out of the pen in Milwaukee. Oh, with Hauser, yes. Armand coming in and saying Hauser's in the rotation until Senga or McGill come back from the IL. Look, if things go south, don't be shocked if they try to Luke Casey. I wouldn't be shocked if that was the case. I question if they are going to plug back McGill into the rotation. We'll see how he recovers. People bring up David Peterson. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen with him when it comes to his recovery. I know they say he's close. We could be seeing him. I think they said end of May. You could be seeing Peterson. But again, I'm not in the camp anymore of waiting to see what we're going to be getting from the likes of McGill and Peterson. We'll just allow things to happen and let the chips fall where they may in their cases. Yes, Jazz. Oh, welcome. I see you. Jazz Chisholme, the man over on Twitter, saying Max Kranick, yes, is someone that could definitely be another option before you think of the likes of Christian Scott. Lucchesi, Kranick, I think you see one or both of those guys prior to seeing a Christian Scott coming up. Because, again, the management of those innings is going to be very interesting to see, because Stearns has been a guy who's been willing to bring somebody up, but managing those innings is going to be very key, because if you brought him up now, you're probably not seeing him pitching in September. So Are they going to wait? Are they going to play a little bit of a back and forth where they start him and then put him in the pen? Like, there's a lot of different machinations that can happen with Christian Scott. So I don't think we're going to see him for a little bit. I don't. I think earliest you might see him is June, and that's if things really continue to trend down for the back end of this rotation. But like I just brought up before, you can't have those walks. You really can't. It's not going to play. It's really not. 14. And the most frustrating one here really is Quintana, because Quintana is supposed to be the guy that we plug in. That's supposed to be our consistent starter because he's a vet. He's been there. He knows what he's doing. He's a control guy. But 14 walks in 25 innings, that's not going to work. We can beat up Manaea all we want for being wild. We can beat up Adrian Hauser for what he's been doing. But I looked at Jose Quintana. It's like I expected more. I wanted him to be that steady constant that he was when he came up last year. I know he's a little bit older, 35 years old. I get it. But I thought he would be better than what he's doing right now. I know he's not a flamethrower. I know Carson's going to hop into the comments and say he's throwing, 92 miles an hour, going to get ripped. Okay. But, place your pitches. Don't walk guys. If you're going to play to contact, keep the ball on the ground. Little things like that go far. He hasn't really been doing it. It's really been a letdown, in my opinion, because I thought he would be, at least a steady hand, if you will. I thought he'd be the guy that would be providing the 6 innings, not, Jose Butto and Luis Severino this quickly. I thought it would be Quintana, but that has been far from the case with him. Got to get the walks under control. Otherwise, we are going to take away one of our biggest strengths this year, which has been our bullpen. You're going to burn them out. You're going to fry them. And then, June's going to roll around, and that swoon is going to come back with a vengeance. And that's the last thing that we want to see. Jumping into the comments. Corey saying, eventually I think you see some combo of Scott, McGill, and Hauser as long men in the pen. 2024 bullpen construction. I wouldn't be shocked by that. I really wouldn't. Excuse me. I wouldn't be shocked by that. If you guys just give me a minute. I often drink a lot on this show. Water. First-time watchers, water. Drink a lot on the show, so I need to take a breather, if you will, to collect myself and ease my parchness. Apologies for the dead air. But there is one thing that I wanted to do. And, it was something that I can do right before we go into the break. We're about 32 minutes in so far. We're doing a great job, and I appreciate all of you. And because we're on, before I get into the comedy, into the joke of something that I'm going to put right now. Again, 151 of you are here right now. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're over here on YouTube. Like the video, subscribe. There's one thing I did want to ask before I go anywhere. For you guys that are on YouTube right now, if you could do me a favor, not in the comment section for the live here, but the comments for the video itself. Do me a favor. All I want you to do is just drop an LGM and then make that your comment. I want to see as many as I can get from people that are here. Drop an LGM in the comment section, not the live, in the comment section of the video. Whether you can now, I'm not sure, but at some point, drop an LGM in the comment section, and I want to see if it helps with the video itself. Again, I see you put it there in the live, Armand, not the live, in the comment section itself. So if that comes up after the video, once I go off, whatever it may be, I'll remind you at the end too, but to drop an LGM into the comment section of the video. I'm testing some things out, trying some different things, and I want to see if that's going to help at all. But not to build this up too much. When John's not here, I like to have fun with obviously doing it by yourself. You got to keep yourself busy. You got to keep going. You got to interact with the chat. There's a lot going on. So I made a bunch of graphics this week. I really did. Last 2 days, I've just been making them nonstop. And I did have a little bit of fun with one. And Hector, I see you there. What's up, brother? I just gave you a shout out before. So I appreciate you, Hector, for stopping in here. All the love to you and blunt thoughts and all that you bring on the Twitter side. So shout out to you, brother. I do like having fun when it comes to, graphics and just working in Canva and just working with logos and creating things and trying to be funny. And, I know a lot of people enjoyed my Nate Lavender video, the ASMR Nate Lavender, who, sad face emoji. We, got to see him be put on the 7-day IL. Hopefully all things get better for him. His ERA came down. He was in the 9s. He got it down to the 3s, but the whip is way too high. Walks are a problem on this team as it is. We don't need more. I think his whip is like around 1.8. Then he went on the IL. So hopefully he gets things proper. He can get back out there and get those walks under control. But people enjoyed my Nate Lavender video. And I decided, you know what? Let's make another one. But not of Nate Lavender. Different player. We talked about our bullpen before, and this has to do with our bullpen. We need to bring up a guy that is no longer here, guy that has had a very interesting 2024 from a personal standpoint, and that would be one Michael Tonkin. And, Michael Tonkin was here, makes the team out of camp, doesn't do so hot, gets DFA'd. They traded in Minnesota for cash. He goes to Minnesota. He pitches against, I think he pitched against Milwaukee again when he was in Minnesota, or Detroit, one of them. And, doesn't do so hot, gets DFA'd. His stuff's going back to Minnesota. He gets picked up again by the Mets. He comes to New York, pitches for the Mets again, DFA'd again. Goodbye. No longer Michael Tonkin. This guy has had a very up and down 2024, and I thought that he deserved something. And, I wanted to avoid copyright law and copywriting, but if for some reason I still get a copyright for this, that means that clearly YouTube loves the pipes that I have in here. But this is our salute to the one and only Michael Tonkin.
I will remember you. Will you remember me? Your ERA was sky high. This DFA is no surprise.
So I don't think YouTube is going to mistake me for Sarah McLachlan, but at the same time, I did have some fun with that. And I am not, believe me, I am not trying to infringe on the Jingle Man here. I just wanted to have a little bit of fun with that one. But yes, shout out to the great Sarah McLachlan. I will remember you. Michael Tonkin, leave the memories alone until we meet again. Because if anything, there's a possibility he could be back. You never know with how David Stearns has been. But that was my my shout out and my ode to Michael Tonkin. So hopefully you enjoyed my voice on that one. Okay, going back to the comments, we got Carson here. JD Martinez, 101.9 miles an hour RBI double. Is it too late for me, a 22-year-old, to call a grown man daddy? Well, I mean, when you're so used to not seeing things like that at the major league level, Carson, no, I don't think you're too grown to call another grown man daddy, but too funny. Seeing some more of the comments here. Keep them coming in, guys. I'm going to get to all of them as quickly as I can. Appreciate all 161 of you that are here and now rocking with me solo. Always appreciated. Look, we got sponsors we got to get to. Thank you, Armin. Wonderful job, Ibby, on the vid. Also, Tonka Truck is greater. Tonka Truck is greater than Tonkin. Look, I thought the Tonka Truck was going to be something, and clearly it wasn't. He wasn't anybody. But yeah, hopefully you guys had a bit of a quick laugh on that one. But we got some ads we got to get to. We got some more information to break down, some more graphics that I got when it comes to Francisco Alvarez. A couple of thoughts on Brett Beatty. I know Carson said we'll have a good talk there. Talking about what happened on the farm yesterday. I want to talk about the City Connects. I did not get a chance to go live when it came to the City Connects that dropped on Friday. Everyone posted their thoughts. I'm going to get mine out there at the end here as well. Then, of course, if any other questions come within the chat, we'll answer them and have some fun with it. But first things first, we need to talk about independent safes. Actually, you know what? No, yeah, we'll do it this way. We're going to talk about independent safes like we always do. IndependentSafes.com. Independent Safes is protecting homes and businesses with secure residential and commercial safes, fireproof peace of mind in every corner. Visit IndependentSafes.com today for security that stands strong. And you can take your independent safe, which you get free shipping on $99 or anything plus. Like we always joke, everything's $99 or more. So you get free shipping no matter what. Tell them that we sent you. Take your independent safe. Lock away those stupid tweets from people that bash Francisco Lindor or anyone on this team. Lock them away. Throw it in the river. Don't need it. IndependentSafes.com. All the love to them. And of course, we cannot forget, as it's been in the lower corner this entire time, how Manscaped is running the promotion of We Save Balls for the month of January, February, March, of April. Okay? Testicular Cancer Awareness. Okay? National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. Okay? We want to make sure we get this up real quick. Let me just go right over here. Of course, you get 20% off of anything from manscaped.com if you use the promo code TMDUP at checkout. That's TMDUP at checkout. Get you 20% off plus free shipping. And then because it's the month of April, they also give you the option for a donation if you would like when it comes to the testicular cancer awareness group that they work with. Okay. Just want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Manscaped. Did you know that one man every hour, every day is diagnosed with testicular cancer? In fact, testicular cancer is the most common form of cancer amongst men aged 15 to 35. April being National Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. Our friends over at Manscaped have partnered with the Testicular Cancer Society to help spread awareness for men's health and early cancer detection. Visit manscaped.com/TCS to learn how to check yourself for early signs of cancer. And as always, you can use the promo code TMDUP at checkout to get 20% off and free shipping. We talk about Manscaped a lot. They've been great to us. We like having fun with it, but obviously this is a little bit more serious. We love them. They love us. And we want to make sure that, everyone's taking care of the balls. Take care of yourself, all joking aside. Take a look, feel around, do what you got to do. Better safe than sorry. So again, TMDUP at checkout, 20% off, free shipping. You can donate to the TCS Foundation as well as we move along with Testicular Cancer Awareness Month. Now that the sponsors are out of the way and all that goes on with that, we have to talk about some of the things that are really bringing us down, if you will. And that being Francisco Alvarez. Francisco Alvarez is out 6 to 8 weeks. Had a torn ligament in the thumb. Had a torn ligament in the thumb. And look, no one wanted to hear that news after that huge win against the Dodgers on Saturday. It sucked. But like I said before, I refuse to let it kill my vibe. I would not let it happen. And look, Omar Narvaez and Tomas Nido is far from ideal. But 6 to 8 weeks, call it 9 weeks maybe on the safe side to ramp up too, depending on how things go. If everything is perfect, the surgery happened, it was a success, no issues, no problems. 6 to 8 weeks, you're looking at what? June, he can be back. I'm confident with that. That's fine. It's a fine timeline in my opinion. Do I wish things were better and this didn't happen? Of course I did. I want Francisco Alvarez to succeed, to thrive, to get more at bats, to become a force in this lineup. But unfortunately, wasn't the case. 6 to 8 weeks, he's out. I think he's going to be fine. I think that I know it's on his catching hand and everyone's worried about that, but I think that him being there, being comfortable, I think he'll be fine. I really do. And as much as it sucks that he's going to miss about 2 months, I think in the long run, it's going to help. It's going to be okay. Getting JD helps. That's a big help to the lineup and masking some things. But once you get him back, and if you got JD rolling, again, you plug him in, makes the lineup deeper. Hopefully Marte's still firing on all cylinders as well. Lineup is a lot better than what we thought it was just a handful of weeks ago. So, again, sucks that he's hurt. Far from ideal, but hopefully the things end up proper with all that goes on with the rehab, and he's back sooner rather than later. Heading back to the chat, looking on over. I see Rael's here. Maybe Tonka needs to lock himself in an independent safe to stay in place. That's a good one. I wish I read that before a little bit earlier. That's a good one, though. Again, guys, keep the comments coming in. I got 169 of you in here. Nice. Got 165. And I see Andrew, the Rhino, is in here as well. Appreciate you, brother. It's a nice new profile pic you got, too, by the way. Good stuff from him over at Mets Weekly with Carson, as well as Frank. Always fun stuff. Where did I want to go next? I'm trying to think. Brett Beatty. Oh, I know what I can do first. Before I get into Brett Beatty, because I know if Carson's still hanging around in this chat, he'll have plenty to say on this. 172 of you in here. The chat continues to grow. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. Again, Till Mets Do Us Part. Follow us on YouTube. If you're watching me on Twitter right now, I appreciate you as well. But head on over to the YouTube. Like the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Turn on notifications. Keep up with everything that we're doing over here on Till Mets Do Us Part. It goes a long way. And throw a couple comments in. We'll have a conversation. And I always like having fun with you guys. I really do. And you guys have made it a lot easier to do these solo shows when needed. Because at first I was very, very timid, very afraid, but you guys make it a lot of fun, and I love interacting with each and every one of you. So thank you so much for being here. And if it's your first time here, welcome. I appreciate you. Let's go Mets. I want to see more of you. I want to see you hop in the comments. I want to see some new names. I love everyone that's in the comments now. Don't get me wrong, I do. But I want to see some new names pop up too. Make some new friends. Talk ball. Talk about our New York Mets. Okay? But Brett Beatty, Joe DeMayo, I love Joe DeMayo. PSL to Flushing, SNY, covers the Mets minors, put out a tweet that got some other people within the community, like the Dynasty baseball community and just the baseball community in general, a little bit up in arms to an extent. Some, not many, but I saw some, really talking about how, with Joe saying that Beatty had taken steps to being better, and the topic had come up about his offense really coming down to earth, like crashing down to earth. He was still talking about how he's a confident player and things have definitely changed for him. He's better than what he was last year in terms of that confidence, and we have to look beyond just the blue and red that you see on a chart. Now, I know a lot of people are very much into the statistics, looking at the data and saying, this doesn't work. It's not going to apply. His hard hit rate is down. His ground ball rate is up. Like all these things, all things that you do not want to see from a player. And look, I love what I've seen from Brett Beatty to this point. The last handful of days, it's been trending down, especially with the injury things. It hasn't been there. And I'm not naive or blind to that. I see it. I do. But, I'm hopeful that he can, correct things and get a little bit better. But at the same time, when I see those charts, it is alarming. But I still like the fact that he's playing a much better defensive position. I like the fact that I'm seeing some better, some at bats. I'm like, what the hell was that? But other ones, like I think he had a couple of hits. No, not today. I think he had a hit late today. I think he had a hit yesterday. You're seeing little things here and there, but again, he's killing a lot of worms. He's hitting the ball on the ground a lot. And, I just don't. And I had a conversation earlier with Carson from Mets Weekly and CP from CPNY Sports, and talking about Chavez and Barnes and the results of 24 to 23 for Beatty and how differently even those are. And it's like, if things aren't working based off of what Chavez is putting out there for him, and he's making him more of just a solid contact hitter, and he's just pounding the ball into the ground, what I don't get with all of that is Jeremy Barnes is still there. Based off of those charts, he had more success with Barnes as opposed to Chavez right now. And I don't understand, when something is being taught to you and it's clearly not working, why is it that we continue to double down and keep doing said thing? Like, that's what I don't understand. And what I fear the most is that things don't work out with Brett Beatty. He goes somewhere else, and like me and Carson have talked about before, just the changing of the swing path is going to happen, and he's just going to become unlocked, and he's going to be some star for, like, I don't know, St. Louis or a smaller place, if you will, that's more accepting of and patient, and he just becomes this star. Now, maybe he's not going to be a star, but just a better overall hitter who lifts the ball. I hope that things can change. We'll see. Those charts are alarming, but I do like that he is fielding his position better, because if there's one thing we have to be honest about, and we can say that the hitting has fallen off a bit, and we don't like that, and that's fine. But we can't ignore the fact that everyone here, everyone in the offseason on Twitter and other channels as well, were all saying how horrible Brett Beatty was defensively. At least he's getting that proper. He's no longer a joke at third base. He's not the worst third baseman we've ever seen. I know you want more than just a defensive third baseman. You want him to provide offense, especially as a former first rounder. I get that. I understand. But at least the defense is there, and the lack of offense is not carrying out with him into the field as well. Confidence is still there. We hope that things can change in terms of the offense. But if we keep doing what we've been doing and doubling down, and if that's Chavez, then that's on him. We need to lift. You can hit the ball hard all you want, but if you hit it to the ground, it doesn't matter. We got to lift the ball. I love the confidence I see in the box. I love some of the swings I see in the box. But we got to get the ball up in the air. We really do. But I'm not giving up on him. I refuse. Still believe in him. Still love the energy that he has. I think it can get there. I do. Will Chavez and this hitting group, and if they keep on doing what they're doing, are they going to allow it to get better? We all know the definition of insanity. So hopefully, things change in that sense. Otherwise, the same result is going to come. Looking over into the chat, seeing some things. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Junior Swingman saying, let's hope that Beatty is right about Alvarez being a miracle healer. Look, if Alvarez wants to be our Wolverine, I'm all about it. By the way, the new Deadpool Wolverine trailer was fantastic. Whoever saw it. Can't wait to see that movie. Yes, Rael, we will talk about City Connects. I got plenty of opinions and thoughts on that with some slides that I want to get into. Spoiler alert, I really like him. I do. I really like him. Yes, it is the sexiest profile pic, Andrew. Appreciate it, Rhino. Appreciate it. Raph, my guy from over LFGM over on Instagram. He's also on Twitter. He does fantastic videos. If you guys don't follow him, you should. The video edits he does are fire, and they always get me pumped up whenever he makes a new one and they drop. I always like him. I always make sure I put the fire emojis in the comments too. He does fantastic work. So if you're not following Raph LFGM over on Instagram, you should be following him on Twitter too. He's a good guy. Raph, if you want to drop your Instagram handle in the comments, I'll make sure to read it as well so people know where to find you. Andrew coming in, and I love a good I do love that you changed the thing on here too. Andrew coming in saying that Eric Chavez is just like Is just Chris Jericho old, washed, and kills young talent? Look, I love a good comparison, and that's a good one. That really is. We all know, Andrew, that he is leaning into this whole hatred thing. If you saw his tweet, if you saw his Instagram post today about winning the FTW title, we know he's leaning into this big time. And if you want to call it good or bad heat, he's going to lean into it, and he's going to be like Don Callis, getting booed out of the building. Anytime, Raph. Appreciate you. Appreciate you too, man. Really, I do. Seriously, follow him. Videos are awesome. Down on the farm. I did want to hit on this as well before I got into the City Connects. Down on the farm is something that I said before that I wanted to make a little bit more consistent, so it keeps us in line with what's going on down on the farm, and to give us an idea of when these guys could be seen or heard from more, if you will, and talk about their timelines. Christian Scott obviously is the talking point. He is the guy that everyone is talking about, and with good reason. I didn't put this into the stat yet, but with good reason. But let's be honest, the offensive side of our minors right now is not doing well. Jet Williams, not there. Drew Gilbert wasn't there before he got hurt. Now he's hurt. He's out for a month. Luis Angel Acuna, not there. Ryan Clifford, it's not there. Kevin Parada, not really there. I don't have Ramirez's numbers off the top of my head, but I don't think they're that great either. So all eyes are really on the pitching. So I bring up this one to talk about last night in particular, and something that carries along over the last handful of starts for Scott as well. And that's, last night Christian Scott went 6 1/3, gave up 1 hit, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts. He retired the last 18 batters he faced. He's got 34 strikeouts to 4 walks in 20 innings pitched. He leads minor league baseball in Ks. His 39% K to walk ratio is also first among 275 qualified minor leaguers. Okay, fantastic numbers from Scott to this point. Okay, and then we look. I'll get back to Scott in a minute, but to keep some other good things in there, Cowboy Ohtani, as Connor Rogers like to call him, down in Brooklyn, A-ball. All right. 5 innings pitched, for Nolan McLean. 5 innings pitched, no runs, 6 strikeouts. And I think over the last week, he's like 5 for 9 with 4 doubles as well as a hitter. It's fun to watch, man. It's fun to read about. It's fun to watch, but very cool nonetheless when it comes to what Nolan McLean is doing as well. But for Christian Scott, you see these types of numbers. And obviously the 34 strikeouts to 4 walks in 20 innings pitched is what sticks out to a lot of people, mainly because I just said stats to you before about pitchers that have 14 walks in 19 innings or, 14, 15 walks in 25 innings pitched, and you're seeing more walks than you are seeing strikeouts. So when you see numbers like that from Scott and you see, wow, it leads all qualified minor leaguers in that stat, he's number 1, like you want to see that. And everyone's like, don't burn those bullets down low. I want to see him up here. Do I think he's ready? I think he is. I think he's ready to be up here now. But I don't think we're going to see him, like I said before, because they want to be careful with the handling. This isn't a Mets thing. This is baseball in general. This is what happens when you have pitchers and you're not sure exactly what you want to do. You want to baby them. You want to take care of them. You view them as assets. You want them to be able to help you in the long run for the stretch run, which is why you take on that much depth from guys like Kranick and Luke Casey and, what you thought was Jose Buta, who's now going to be a mainstay in this rotation moving forward, or, the depth that you think you can be provided by McGill and Peterson and other guys of that ilk. You give those guys and you burn those guys up with some innings. And then you hope that once you bring up Scott, he's here and he can finish out the year as well. Now, I don't think the maths, if you will, because I think if you brought him up now and he ended up getting, 20 plus starts up here and you wanted him to go 6 innings, a handful of those starts, like the math doesn't math. I think the idea is to get him to like 120 innings pitched this year, which would be an increase from the 87 that he pitched last year. So again, let's not forget, relief pitcher turned starter. You're trying to continue to lengthen him. You don't want to hurt him. You don't want to push him too hard. Okay. And let's be honest, he's got to get the home runs under control too. The home runs have been a little bit out of control, but he bears down after he gives them up. I put out the meme yesterday as a joke, like when you're playing video games and you're sitting back and you're playing, and then something happens, you're like, okay, it's time to get serious. And then you lean forward. Like that's Scott when he gives up a home run. It's like Christian Scott gave a home run in the first, but then he retires the next 15 batters. Same thing this last start. Christian Scott gives up a home run in the first, retires his next 18 batters. Okay. Striking guys out, getting out of things, working out of trouble. Like he knows how to bear down, but you face better competition at the major league level. Okay. You're not necessarily always going to get out of those jams like you can in AAA. Okay. You might give up more home runs to better hitters here. There's a lot of questions that still are there, but he does have fantastic stuff. He really does. And it plays. Carson always says it. Stuff plays. His stuff plays. It really does. I'm saying June. That's me being on the positive side. I'm saying June. Can things happen? Injuries happen. Things don't go proper, and you got to call them up sooner. Definitely possible. 100% possible. But I would say that June is the area we're probably looking at when it comes to him being here and helping this team. I'd love to see it sooner, but I think June is kind of where I am when it comes to the arrival of Christian Scott. But it is exciting. It's exciting to see a guy going down there and dominating like he has. And he's really risen through the system very quickly. It's exciting. And I understand why people are pumped up about it. Checking into the chat. Armand, if Chavez is Jericho, then which wrestler is Hefner? Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to sit on that one. I'm not sure. Rael letting us know that Syracuse is on SNY tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. and Saturday at 1. I would love for them to televise a Scott start. That'd be nice. But either way, I do love that we are getting more minor league baseball on television, whether it's Syracuse, the Rumble Ponies. I think it's great. It's good synergy to understand everything that's going on within the system of an entire franchise. I do love the connecting of that now. It makes a lot of sense. And it matters, especially when you oftentimes pump up these guys like there's somebody. Now you can actually see them, which is a good thing. Corey coming in saying, Ibby, this is why I said they would use him as a long man out of the pen. This is what stuff, this is the type of stuff the Stearns did when he was in Milwaukee too. I agree, Corey. I wouldn't be shocked if when Scott came up, you would see him, get some starts here and there, and then towards the back end, work in the pen, work an inning or two here or there, and then, save those bullets, if you will, for starts that you might need down the road. Okay. I would not be shocked by that. And it's a great call. Armand saying, I'll say July. Very possible too. We'll see how this all plays out. I'm saying June on the very, very positive side, being very forward that he's going to pitch his way into the conversation where they can't say no. In comparison to what's going on up here, I think he's going to pitch his way into that conversation. I really do. 211 of you are here right now rocking with me. I appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you hit the like on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. Make sure you never miss anything that's going on with us here over at Till Mets Do Us Part. If you're watching us over on Twitter, I appreciate you. Thank you for the eyes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please hop into the chat, have a conversation. Let's have some fun. Let's talk some ball. That's what I like to do. But if you're over on Twitter, follow me. Here's my show handle. Ooh, there's my Twitter handle. Follow John. Follow the show, which is at Till Mets Do Us Part. Okay, it's also broadcasting on that page as well. But if you're over on Twitter, make sure you head on over to YouTube to subscribe to the channel, like the video, subscribe. Okay, do all those good things. We have a lot of fun here. This community is fantastic. I love working with everybody, and everyone's growing, and it's great. And if you want to avoid that bubble that is Twitter, in terms of the garbage, you can find a lot of great Mets content creators. You know, obviously, I'm going to put ourselves over on this one. Till Mets Do Us Part, Subway to Shea, Aunt Rivera, CP and Rob do a great job. The big hitters when it comes to Shea Station and the Mets Pod, and of course, Wardy, the man, the GOAT, Wardy NYM, always doing great things. But there are so many great people within this community, and I appreciate each and every one of them and working with them the way that we do. Now, one of the last things I want to get into before we go into the chat really is the City Connects. Now, those of you that are in the chat right now, 211 of you, let me know your feelings in the chat when it comes to the City Connect jerseys. Are you a fan of how they came out? The detail, the colors, the entire story. Are you a fan of those City Connect jerseys? I'm going to bring up some stuff I want to talk about. I'm going to put my thoughts out there because I wasn't able to on Friday when they dropped, but I am curious to see what people think of the jerseys. I'm going to go through the comments real quick. If we have so many people in the chat, how do we not have more likes? Well, Corey, it's because a majority of them are probably checking us out over on Twitter, which is cool. I have no problem with that. I'm putting it out to all areas so we get more eyes on the show, in hopes that they see us there. Then eventually they'll come over and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and join us on YouTube. But I'm not going to turn away the eyes, if you will, from everyone over on Twitter, because they're rocking with us still. They're still sticking with us, which is a good thing. Of course, he puts himself over. Don't forget to listen to Mets Weekly as well with Carson, Andrew, and Frank. They do a great job. I love their stuff. They are brutally honest. That's their shtick. That's their hashtag. That's their line. Very brutally honest. And they love Luke Ritter. Well, I should say, Andrew loves Luke Ritter. So if you want some Luke Ritter content and you want a lot of Jeff McNeil bashing, Mets Weekly is for you. All the love, brothers. All the love. But the City Connects, I want to bring some things up real quick to talk about them. Obviously, I love the way it all came out. I love the story. I love everything that is, with them when it comes to, the railroad tracks, the token, the logo in the middle, the Queensboro Bridge. You got diversity there in the corner. The gray when you want to mix in the concrete, or the subway, the colors there, the subtleness of the purple, not overbearing when it comes to the purple. I know some people were very upset with how some of it was lettered and how NYC looks cheap in the front, like something you would see from a shop, like an I Love New York store, like things like that. But I think that was the point. I think that was a little bit part of it where, they wanted it to come across very New York, and, doing something like that makes sense to being very New York, if you will. But looking at other things such as the hats, you can see here a better look at the hat of, the Queensboro Bridge being on the front. I think that looks awesome. I really do. And I do plan on getting one of those hats. I checked some of the places near me. I checked the lids by me. I checked Dick's Sporting Goods. None of them have it yet, but I do plan on getting that hat, and you'll see me rocking it and donning it on this show the moment I do get it. I'll look at Lindor here, just looking sharp with it. It just, what brings it home for me? Really, the fact that they were smart when it came to the jersey itself on the back, and they have the the outline. They wanted to go black, and they went the outline being white. I was afraid that they were going to outline purple, and you wouldn't really been able to see it. It would have reminded me of those Marlins jerseys where nobody could read anything because it was too dark and they didn't outline it with white. They did the right thing here by not only going white on the outline, but they went white pants. They went white pants, and that makes the entire thing look that much crisper and better. If they would have worn gray pants, they would have looked like a bunch of hefty bags. They really would have, and I'm glad that they did not go that route. They went the route they should have went. People were complaining and saying it should have been a pinstripe pant. I think they look good. I think it looks great. I really do. I think it looks sharp with the black sock. It looks good, and you can see all the crew here, all the guys looking good in the entire garb. And I really think that the Mets got lucky here. I do. I think a lot of teams end up with some garbage-looking uniforms, and I know everyone wants to rip, and deservedly so. They want to rip the way that the things have gone with Nike, with Fanatics, and the whole nonsense with the pants and everything. But I think the Mets got lucky here, and they ended up with some of the better City Connects in all of baseball. Like, I think they rank, and look, I love jerseys. I love logos. I'm very particular when it comes to stuff like that. I know people are upset that there wasn't, blue and orange mixed in with this, but I like the story that's told with the entire thing, the hat, the logos, the attention to detail. Like, one detail that I love that I didn't even think of, we talked about it on the show, the hat. I love the hat because everyone said, oh my God, like the subway lining on the inside of the hat, like, where, the trains go and things like that should be more seen. That should be more pronounced. And then when I heard the reasoning, it's like, well, the subway lines, they're underground. And knowing that, the hat's the color that it is, and then they got the concrete underneath, and you're saying, well, that's underneath, and that's where the subway. So you want to see it, but I understand the detail, and I appreciate detail when it comes to stuff like that. I'm not a New Yorker. I was born and raised in New Jersey, but I can appreciate the story and all that went into the detail and understanding this is why we're doing this. And I think they came out sharp. I wanted simple and I wanted clean. When you have things that are simple and clean, that's what looks best. Whether it's a baseball jersey, a football jersey, a basketball jersey, logos the same way. When something is clean and simple, it looks 100 times better. And I think we lucked out because I think these things look clean and simple. And I can't wait to see how they look when it comes to being on the field. And I think they're gonna look good. I think they'll look sharp on TV. You want to make sure you look good on TV. So very pumped up about those. Let me dive back into the chat and see what people are saying. I know I do have some New Yorkers in here, so I'm very curious on their thoughts. We got Rael right here saying, as a born and bred New Yorker, the City Connects look exactly like the city I know. Respect to the details and for not doing the tourist statue. Doing the tourist Statue of Liberty stuff. Yes, it went deeper than that. When I saw the story of the token, like I thought that was like chef's kiss. It really was. And again, not a New Yorker. All right. Jersey. All right. Not a New Yorker, but like attention to detail like that, I think is fantastic. I really do. Follow up from Rael. You can tell the care that was put into the details. Extra credit for the subway line running under the hat. Like once I heard that, like sometimes you need to be explained like why something is going on, because initially you can be like, man, that looks like garbage. And the world we live in now is very, quick to tweet something, quick to put out an opinion and not wait for the story. You want to get ahead of the story because you want to be first. That's what often happens. So when I heard that, like initially I'm like, man, that would look so much cooler if it was out more and like on the jersey or somewhere on the sleeve or something. And then you hear the story, like, man, that's good. That's really good. And I love detail like that. That's really good stuff. Armand getting a good laugh at my hefty bag comment. They would have. A big old gray hefty bag. And I'm glad they didn't wear black either. The Athletic put out a great article about the whole process for these jerseys. And initially, they did run ideas with Queens on the front, but they also ran ideas of black pants. And I'm so glad that they did not do that, because I thought that that would have been just too much. Wouldn't have worked. They wouldn't have looked good at all. So I'm glad that they did not go black pants and they went white pants with the stripe down the side. Much cleaner, much better. Armand coming in my opinion, if the Yanks did not opt out of the City Connect jersey, Queens would have been on the front of the jersey instead of NYC. And then Corey follows that up by saying, in my opinion, Queens continues the little brother of New York story. I'm glad that they did not go that route. Talking with Keith over at the Queens Baseball Convention, Media Goon, who's often in the comments here on a weekly basis. I had a conversation with him about it, and he was saying, like, you got to realize that there's City Connects. You know, it's not Borough Connects, it's City Connects. And reading the story, I understood why they did not go with Queens, because they said this is about, an entire place that's connected by bridges and everyone's interconnected, one way or another through transportation. And it's like, this is about New York. This isn't about just one place. We know there's a lot of fans in Queens. We know that's where the Mets play, but it's bigger than that. And when you put it like that, it's true. I enjoyed my render that I did that said Queens on the front. Would I have liked something that said Queens on the front? I thought that would have been cool, but I understand why they went the NYC route, and it makes sense. It's bigger than just one place. It's bigger than just one borough. It's the entire city. A lot of Mets fans in New York. A lot of Mets fans that are, go beyond just Queens. They're all over. So I get why they did that. 220 of you rocking with me right now. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Like the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Turn on notifications. Never miss anything that we're doing here over at Till Let's Do Us Part. I appreciate each and every one of you. It's not always me. If this is your first time here, it's not always me being solo. I'm often with my partner, John Saponaro, who is not here this week filling in. I decided to do a show solo and have some fun with everybody. So thank you to the 220 that are here. And those that are on the YouTube side, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're on the Twitter side, head on over to YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like the video. It helps us grow, and it's much appreciated. So again, thank you so much to 220 people sitting here with me on a Wednesday at almost 8 o'clock. We'll be wrapping up soon. At almost 8 o'clock, after a big Mets win. Appreciate each and every one of you for being here with me right now. Really, truly, truly mean it. The video brought a tear to my eye. This is from Corey, and he's talking about the first video about the city. Look, if there's one thing, like, everyone was always curious about the teasers, like what they meant, and then you saw the videos, like, they were fantastic. And again, not a New Yorker, but I laughed because I've been to the city, plenty of times in my life, and just seeing some of the things. And I don't know if Keith is still here. Keith from Shay and Sons, another show everyone should be locked in and watching. Shay and Sons, him and Key and his brother do a great job with breakdowns pre and post game, and their spaces as well on Twitter. Make sure you're following Shay and Sons. But don't know if he's here anymore, but he told, like, when he was watching the video, like when the guys were talking about the pizza, and he's like, this is my life. Like, it's like, what about the arugula? He's like, no arugula. It's like, it's cheese, sauce, full. That's it. So it's little things like that. Or, the fact that, it's good coffee when when you're drinking Colombian coffee is given to you by an Egyptian guy and it's put into a Greek cup, like little things like that. I thought that was really funny and, really played to what New York is and how diverse and how all over it is. And I thought that was a really, really well done job on the media side for the press, if you will, when it came to the rollout for these jerseys. I just thought it was aces. I really did. Rael saying the coffee cup. That's it, Corey. It's like sauce, cheese, folded. That's it. What about the arugula? No arugula. Or they're like the hot honey. It's like, no hot honey. Like, that's not what I want. Like that was I couldn't stop laughing at that. I thought that was really good. Junior Swingman coming in here saying that doesn't it seem like every time Lindor goes off like today, the Mets have an off day the next. It does feel like that. I never thought of that, but you're right. It's like he has this big game, then it goes away. We'll see in a day or two, whatever it is, because sometimes weather plays a factor. And then it's like we're starting all over again. Like you can't build the rhythm. I totally see what you're saying there, Junior. Never thought of it, but you know what? That does feel like that's the case. But let's hope that a big game like this finally gets all that weight off the shoulders. And he's like, I'm good. The left side, I'm locked in. I know what I need to be doing. Okay. He's been doing his thing from the right side, but the left side, I'm finally locked in. Okay. I know what I got to be doing. And I'm going to be a threat moving forward from either side of the plate. That's all we can hope for. Okay. That's all we can hope for because this offense is a lot better when Francisco Lindor is Francisco Lindor. Okay. You add that to what Marte's been doing, what we know Pete can do. We're going to add JD. Brandon Nimmo needs to get right. Batting sub 200 right now. I know averages and everything. Okay. I know he's up there in RBIs, but we got to get Nimmo on base more. We got to get him the ball in the air more too. He's in one of those, like those Nimmo funks right now. Okay. I say that, and then now he's going to rip off 15 for his next 30. I hope that's the case. But usually when I say stuff like that, like they go on a tear. So I hope he does. Okay. But he's kind of like one of like those Nimmo-esque funks a little bit, where you want him to get right and be the Nimmo that we know he can be. And I think that he will get there, hopefully during this homestand. 100% Rael. Harrison Bader has been holding his own. When this, and we said this a couple weeks ago too, nobody would care about Harrison Bader's offense if everyone was firing the way that they're supposed to be firing. But because things have been disjointed, the microscope, or the magnifying glass, I should say, gets that much bigger on everybody. So when when no one's hitting and then you see Harrison Bader not doing anything, you're like, well, even Harrison Bader stinks. He can't do anything for me. This offense is terrible. That's what people think. But he has been holding his own. He has been hitting the ball hard, putting the ball in play, okay? Providing something for this team outside of just the defense. I agree. Been a staple at the bottom half of the lineup, which is something that you need, a good team needs, because you got to turn that lineup over. But if we're turning the lineup over, we got to make sure those guys that we want in those big spots are firing on all cylinders. And we're still not there just yet. We're still not there. I hope once JD gets here, he can provide something, give Pete some more pitches to hit. Lindor is starting to lock in. Marte stays hot. Nimmo gets right. Things then on the top end really start picking up. And then you can have the likes of Bader and Beatty on the back end, slapping the ball around, getting on base, doing what you got to do, turning it over to get back to the top, create those runs, give our pitchers a lead as opposed to pitching from beneath. Give them a lead, something they can work with, attack the strike zone, not nitpick, avoid those walks, stop killing the bullpen. All of these things are interconnected. All of them. We still haven't really, even with that win streak, I still don't think we've seen everything fire the way that I think it can fire. I think this offense has another level. The question is, can they get to that level? We'll find out. We'll see if JD helps in that process. Armand coming here saying, I know JDM is going to bat fifth, but should they consider him sixth every now and then to help balance the lineup and have a rotation of Beatty and Narvaez bat fifth and McNeil bat seventh behind JDM? I think no matter what, I think wherever Pete's batting, I think JD is going to be right behind him. So if for some reason one day, Pete's batting third again, I think JD's batting fourth. If Pete's going to stay batting fourth, I think JD's batting fifth. If they moved up and switched things around, decided to get crazy or gave someone an off day or whatever, and they decided, hey, we're going to bat Pete second, then I think that You know, would they have the balls to bat JD third? Maybe if Lindor was leading off, but I don't think it's going to happen. But the main thing here is wherever Pete bats, I think JD is going to be right behind him. I think you got to get him more pitches to hit so he could do more damage, hit for more power, drive the ball out of the park, and create that offense and jump the scoreboard like this team desperately needs to do more times than it has been to this point. Great question here from Rael. How are you feeling about Mendoza? I love what I've been seeing from Carlos Mendoza. I really do. I think the players are locked in with him. I think they feed and feel off of the way he is. And I brought it back. I think I said it last week. The balk during the Pittsburgh series and his reaction and his excitement and his fieriness that he showed, that reaction to me felt like the team that I've been watching to that point. Yes, there's always going to be ups and downs. You're not going to win every game. But I think that right there showed me that the way he talks to and handles his players permeates throughout the clubhouse and it bleeds onto the field. And we see an aggressive team that steals bases, that does what it has to do to try to win a ball game. Can he be a little bit overly aggressive? I think he was. I think one of the Dodgers games might have been the Sunday game where he was just overly aggressive, trying to steal bases, and they just kept getting thrown out. It was like, let's pull back a little. I love aggressiveness, but like sometimes you gotta be like, we gotta pull back for a minute. Okay. But really, I think to this point, from where he started to where he is now, I think Carlos Mendoza is a good manager. I really do. And I think as this team continues to progress and get better throughout the years beyond this year as well, I think he's the right guy to have. And I think we got a good one. I really do feel that way. I think his message carries, and I think the players really respect him. I really do. I think he does a great job of blending gut with data and really carrying things out in a baseball sense, the way that fans think that baseball should be carried out. I think it's a great fit. I really do. So he gets a thumbs up from me to this point. Ask me again next week, and we'll see where I am. But really, I think that what he's done to this point has been strong, and I'm definitely a fan of his. I know people were killing him those first 5 games. The bunt with Beatty at the time, that's what I really didn't like. But outside of that, I was like, you got to start somewhere. You're a first-time manager. You got to start somewhere. No one's Terry Francona right away. No one's Buck Showalter in his prime right away. No one's Bruce Bochy right away. You got to start somewhere. So I'm a fan. I think what he's doing has been great. So, one more thing I must get out there, and we'll close up in about 2 minutes, go an hour and a half. A happy birthday needs to go out. And I'm so glad that you're here, Rael, because the man that deserves his birthday to be shouted out on Till Mets Do His Part is the one and only Carlos Beltran, who turned 47 years young today. Happy birthday to one of my favorite Mets of all time, the great Carlos Beltran, who should go into the Hall of Fame wearing a New York Mets hat. Who should go into the Hall of Fame wearing a New York Mets hat. Happy 47 years young to my favorite center fielder of all time, Carlos Beltran. I love you, my man. You're the best. Okay? Rael asking if I have my ball in the independent safe. The ball, it's not in front of me right now. It's right on my table, right there. I'm looking at it. And I don't want to leave the screen, but it's right there. But I do have it. But yeah, happy birthday, Carlos Beltran, the best center fielder in our history. Thank you, Junior Swingman. It's the truth. He's the best. Hall of Famer, Mets hat. Next year, I'm putting it into the universe. It's happening. Deserves it. I will not make it stop, Rail. It's going to keep on going. And I'm forever thankful to you for giving me that ball. Okay. I have a Beltran signature over there on the wall of the picture when he hit the home run against the Cardinals. The double, it's out of here from Gary Cohen. I have that picture signed over there. I got another Carlos Beltran picture over here. I love the guy. He's fantastic. So, yes, I will not make it stop. It's never enough. It's never enough. Happy birthday, Carlos Beltran. Hour and a half. I wanted to say thank you. So, Rael is forever thankful for you getting out of my house. You crack me up, Rael. You really do. I wanted to say thank you so much to everyone that hopped in with me today. 232 of you are here right now. Majority probably on the Twitter side, which is fine. I appreciate everyone that that decided to be here, whichever way you decide to partake in the show. But thank you so much. Hour and a half is not easy solo, but you guys made it easy for me. And I put a lot of work into this one when it came to the graphics and the stats and things like that. So hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully your ears didn't bleed from my rendition of Sarah McLachlan's "I Will Remember You" for the recently DFA'd Michael Tonkin. Appreciate it. Great conversation today. Talking West Coast, talking Marte, talking Reed Garrett, talking about the walks that need to stop from the starting rotation. The Tonkin graphic, like I said, Alvarez, Beatty, Christian Scott down on the farm, Noel McLean doing cool stuff down in Brooklyn, the City Connects, and everything that went along within the chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you. And once again, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, turn on notifications. If you're following us over on Twitter, follow me. I like posting some stuff over there from time to time. I like having a good time with good people on Twitter. And hopefully you guys have a fantastic evening. I love all of you. Thank you so much. One last time, we'll give a good quick shout out to our people over at Independent Safes, where I am not keeping my Carlos Beltran ball. Rael, I like to keep it out in the open. IndependentSafes.com is protecting homes and businesses with secure residential and commercial safes. Fireproof peace of mind in every corner. Visit IndependentSafes.com today for security that stands strong. And if you have Beltran garb, memorabilia, keep it out. Don't put it in the safe. Don't be like Rael. Get it out there. You could put your you can put your Tom Glavine ball in that safe, Rael, and you can throw that one, out of an airplane and just get rid of it. We don't need that one. But we'll keep the Beltran stuff out. IndependentSafes.com. Head on over. Free shipping on anything, $99 and over, which basically means free shipping on anything. And again, shout out to our people over at MANSCAPED. 20% off and free shipping when you use the promo code TMDUP. That's TMDUP over at manscaped.com to get 20% off and free shipping. And because it's April and it's Testicular Cancer Awareness Month, and they are partnered up with the Testicular Cancer Society, you'll get an option at checkout as well if you want to donate some money, $1, $5, whatever it may be. Okay. A little goes a long way. Okay. Don't be afraid to check yourself, boys. You never know. Better safe than sorry. Okay. Manscaped.com, promo code TMDUP. I'm Ibby. Matt Ibanez here. I love all of you. 230 rock with me. Appreciate the time. Appreciate the show. I hope you had fun. I know I did. And I will see you guys next week. Might have a guest. Still working on it. But we'll see you next week. John should be back. And we'll have ourselves some fun like we always do every Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. Till Mets do his part. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. Follow us on all the platforms. All the love. Let's go Mets. I'll see you.